all-encompassing as it is. Like with other sports that I've done or something even athletic in general, there's been like I'll come to practice like twice a week and I'll pick it up pretty fast. And I tried to do that when I started doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but I realized, I'm not picking up as much as I would want. And maybe it's a little bit, I don't catch on as easily, or maybe it's just this is really hard. I think it might be a little bit of both for me.
Yeah.
Where it's like this is very outside of anything I've ever been comfortable doing. So it's been hard, but like it's very involved, and you have to really dedicate a lot of time to it. And I like that aspect of it. I really enjoy the process of like learning it and trying to catch on, even if I think I'm very slow. That other aspect that you do really well of here's the general idea of like this is the end goal.
Yeah.
And having both of those for me is really nice because I can connect the dots of like, oh, okay, this takedown goes into this, and I can kind of work my way to some kind of submission in some way, or like a more dominant position. And both of them, I can work with both of them. I'm pretty flexible.
A beginner, a white belt, I know we have a fundamentals class here, which I think is phenomenal. Everybody should have one if you're able to. And if you're starting out in jiu-jitsu,
It's been crazy helpful for me.
Yeah, and
very
what we've noticed real quick is Derek's done a great job with the fundamentals class, and the people when they kind of progress and migrate to the general class, some of our classes we'll have 30 plus people on the mat, and it's nice as a coach whenever I don't have to say this is mount, this is guard, hey, nope, this is not a Kimura. It's nice when they come into the general class. I'm not having to teach the basics.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when someone does come in and they're doing like a free trial week and they do kind of pop into the general class, it's so obvious.
You can
see but that one person isn't really a big deal. We can get an upper belt to help, or if it's a packed class, I can help or whatever. But like, if you have 20 plus people on the mats and 8 of them are brand new, but years past when we didn't have fundamentals, I'd have to separate the class, and
everything comes to a screeching halt.
Yeah, and it's like, and then it's like you're kind of stalling the advanced guys and stuff. So I kind of your take on the fundamental class and then the styles, because now that you've been training for a year, you kind of see the different styles of 1, 2, 3s and the fun, and then like the fluid, the more advanced stuff, and from like a beginner perspective, like what are your thoughts on the two and the,
I think if open mat in the general classes is where you swing the sword, fundamentals is where you sharpen the blade. I 100%, because as someone who's brand new, I don't know anything. Like I'm a year in. Some of y'all have been in here for decades. You know what I mean? So
don't call me old.
No. Like it's all new to me. I can see it on YouTube for years. I can look at it or whatever. Experiencing it and getting to do it is bar none, and that's super valuable for me. 100%. And I have to give praise to Derek, because he's been from day one for me, has been such a great support. He's great for white belts because he has such a good understanding of what we're going through with trying to understand it and just trying to be useful in general classes. I think everybody should go to fundamentals, because I don't care what belt you are, and this is just coming from 1 year in. It really is super valuable for me, and I make sure I don't miss it just because it feels off. I maybe could just go to other general classes, but like I love that class because I'm like, okay, I can ask Derek specifically, like, because he's been at this a while, this technique and like the technique we're going over, I can see how to do it precisely. Instead of like, I'm getting like the general idea of it, I can make it up as I go. Like I'd rather do it perfectly than kind of just go off on my own idea of how it's supposed to be done.
I think Derek's been training with me for 12, 14 years.
I believe it. He's really good. He's really, really good.
I know he was either a senior in high school or he just graduated.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I don't remember. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
But Derek does a great job. And,
he's so good.
And, as a kind of like, because you're here quite a bit. You train
quite
a lot.
Yeah.
If there was no fundamentals.
No.
If there was no fundamentals and you just jumped into a general
it would be
class.
There's no way. Honest to God, if it wasn't for, I think I credit this to Derek and Andrew. Andrew does a really good job with white belts too, but Derek especially, just because there's automatically I just feel like we're so lucky to have him in that position because he's
for the fundamentals.
For fundamentals, and like even because I started out doing the morning classes with him and Jeremy, and those were my main coaches for like the first 3 months that I trained. And if I didn't have them, also to see them in like fundamental class and stuff like that, I don't think I would have stuck around. It would have been really hard for me to sink my teeth into it because when I went on the mat, I remember I came that Monday. I came Tuesday for fundamental class. You actually taught that class because Derek was out, and then it was a great class. It was a good class.
I don't do.
We were
well
doing half guard passes. I remember what it was.
Nothing's changed.
That Wednesday, it was a Wednesday morning with Jeremy, and he knew I was brand new, and it was the first time I got to roll. If I hadn't gone even just for those 2 classes of like seeing it, I'd be like, I don't know what I'm doing. Even just like piecemeal it together. For me, I need that. Like this is what an armbar looks like, so that at least I know what to avoid or what to tap to. Like I don't know. I feel safer in my opinion.
Yeah, I got you, and that's what it's about. Is one, the safety of this is the part that people get confused. It is for your safety.
It is. It's for my safety, legitimately.
But selfishly, it's actually for our safety.
Oh, for sure, because new white belts are crazy.
Yeah, the most dangerous belt in jiu-jitsu is the white belt, without a doubt. Like,
there's a community aspect of this that is. You mentioned exercise. This has been fantastic for my physical health. I came into this about 200. I'm 6 foot-ish, and I'm like early 6 foot. And when I started, I was about 250 pounds. I've lost about like 35 pounds or something like that as a result, like 30-ish. This has been fantastic for my physical health. And this is coming from someone who used to do workouts like twice a day. Oh, and wow. Compared to like going to the gym, this is so much more fun. Yeah. Like even just at that base level, because I would go to the gym and put my headphones in and I'm in my own world. And I was motivated by not liking how I felt and not liking me. Whereas here, I'm motivated by, okay, well, if I eat better, if I lose a little bit of weight, I'll be able to move better, and I'll be able to do the martial art better. And like the frame of reference was completely different. It was less about like, oh man, I'm so fat, and I don't like myself. To, oh no, this is fun. If I do this, if I change this, then I'll be able to do this better. Like, that aspect of it is like, I love that community aspect where it's like, I need someone else to train with in order to do this, and I can't just do it on my own because you'll make no progress. So that social interaction aspect of it is great for working out. And also it's really, 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 really hard. And I love that challenge of
and there's trying to get better. Nothing like doing hard things. You know?
And I'm right there with you. I love getting down and really trying to figure something out and proving to myself that yes, I can do it. Even if I'm afraid of doing it, I could still do it. Because I'm not very good at a lot of things, and I'm a slow learner in this, but I think for me, with where I'm at, I feel like I'm one of the hardest working persons in the room, whatever room that is, even if I'm not that good. Give some context. I deal with really bad anxiety. I've had my entire life, and getting the crap kicked out of me here has helped that anxiety tremendously in a lot of different aspects.
Oh, that's awesome.
It really has. It used to be really hard even just to show up, because I would sometimes drive to the class and I have to park in a parking lot, just wait for my hands to stop shaking before I can come in here because I was so afraid of being here. Thankfully, it's not like that anymore. I feel very comfortable here. But doing this has helped in that aspect, but also in like decision making, where it's like, oh man, I've got a stressful deadline. It's like, I'm okay. Like, you know what I mean? The worst thing that I've ever imagined that could happen has already physically happened. And so like approaching hard topics or like approaching confrontation, which I've always been adverse to confrontation entirely. Now I'm like, okay, I can emotionally handle it. I'm okay. So in that aspect, I've seen very drastic, like, I'm able to handle a lot more than I did previously. And I absolutely that in other aspects professionally with like handling like mental stress and like criticism and like, I think like professional decisions in that way, I totally relate with that, with like what I've done with like acting and stuff. The worst thing that anyone could have said to me, someone's already said to me at this point. So I'm like, someone can say pretty much whatever and I don't really care. Getting the physical aspect of it of like, oh no, this is what someone could really beat the living hell out of you.
Yeah.
Even coming close to facing that was, I think, really has been, and it still is, it's like, that's really scary thought. And I think that's a good reason to train for me. And it's certainly a piece of the pie. It's not the whole part of self-defense, but getting exposed to that, and you know, that's been good, really, really good for me. That's really been good for me.
Yeah.